Hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Can you hear me now? Am I audible to you? I can see Jessica here and Shweta and also Jaroslav. Nice. Okay, thanks for confirming. Okay. Is it the audio clear to you or is there any disturbance? And also make sure if the screen share is blur or if it is having too many delays, make sure you close all those windows uh, and just focus on the presentation so that sometimes yeah it might be not so clear so that um, yeah, and also if you have too many windows, yeah, you may not be able to focus on what we will be discussing as well. We'll be starting in a couple of minutes. But yeah, whoever joining with just now, so if you could go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat window, that just helps us to connect better. So just mention your name, location, and the technology. So we have a few of the folks. Okay, so we have Patel, SharePoint consultant from New Jersey. Nice. Hi Patel, welcome to the session. Hey, hi Anil. Yeah, I didn't started sharing yet. I'll be starting my screen share soon. And also thanks everyone for taking your time to join here because last week the connectivity was not good. Yeah, apologies for that. Hope everything stays good for this week, at least for next 60 minutes. All right, let me share my screen so we'll just start. Yeah, please do let me know if you can see my screen. Hey, hi Mastan. Okay, thank you. All right. So in this particular session, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Power Apps, and the main intention of this particular session or the agenda is how we are going to customize the list forms. So before going to the customization of the list forms, We are going to talk about what is Power Apps and why Microsoft introduced Power Apps, and we will see how we could get started with Power Apps. Then later we're going to talk about the main purpose, which is customization of list forms in this session. But there are a lot of other things that you could achieve with Power Apps. So, but this particular session will be focusing more on how we are going to get started with Power Apps and what are the main advantages and what are the things that you need if you want to get started with. Then how you could use Power Apps in SharePoint list forms. So those are the things that we are going to talk about. Then I'm going to just brief about the workshop which I am starting from next week. Then we will finally take Q&A. So if you have any questions about today's session, then we will go ahead and I'll try to answer as many as possible. But if I'm unable to, then I'll get back to you about those questions if you need any help or what are the advice that you want. Okay, so whenever you want to work with Power Apps, you can either work directly from the browser, or there is an app that was already created or developed by Microsoft that you could get it, which is either you can have a Power App Studio, okay, that can be installed and you can create forms, work with different data and all those things. And also the Power Apps is not just for SharePoint. You can connect with various different other sources. So SharePoint is just one of them. Okay, there are a lot of other things that you could connect and get the data and work with that particular information that you have. So given that we are mostly into SharePoint development, and we will be focusing on SharePoint more in this particular session. Okay, so this is the app that I was talking about. This is free. So what I did here is actually downloaded or installed on my machine. This is my Windows 8 machine, where you can see that the Power Apps was downloaded already from the Windows Store. So you can go and download, and also you can see if I wanted to download different apps that are already developed by Microsoft. So I can just click on those, which will automatically start downloading to the Power App Studio. So you can see this is a asset checkout application which is being downloaded currently. And I can see what are the different things within this app are. So it has laptops, keyboards, because these are all the different kinds of assets. So that's one kind of application. And also I can check different options that are available. This is not the web-based one, but if I wanted to go to the web-based one, I can always go there and use it. So we'll be looking at both the options that we have. Okay. And if you wanted to install, so you can go to the store, the Windows Store. It's loading here. Okay, then you can search for Power Apps. So you can see that it might show like it was already installed in my machine. Okay, so if I go back here, yeah, it says this app is already installed on this PC. All right, so you can use that from the store. Okay, and also there are other things. I could check the connections and a lot of other things are there. So we'll be looking at each one of them in detail. But yeah, try to install that and see how it looks like in your machine. Then, like I said, this Power Apps is not just for SharePoint. Okay, so you could connect to the different resources. That means there is a price associated with this particular Power Apps. So it's a separate product. And if you see the pricing, so you can see this is already available if you have Office 365 or Dynamics 365. Or if you don't have Office 365, you could still purchase Power Apps this is again per user basis. You might need to spend $7. And if you have the other option where this is for the admins, and if you wanted to develop a lot of sophisticated apps, then you might need to spend more. So all this information you could get it from the Power Apps. So if I go here, Power Apps here, okay. So if I go to the pricing section, I can always see all those details which are available. Okay, so and also it shows what are the different things that are available, and if you want to compare the plans, you can compare what are the different features available. Like I said, it can connect to different resources. It's not just Office 365. If you see here, it can connect to the Dropbox, it can connect to Twitter, OneDrive, a lot of other third-party tools as well. Okay. So based on your requirement, you can go ahead and choose whatever the plan that you have. Then with Office 365, these are plans. Let's say if you have taken any one of these things, then you should have Power Apps. Okay, so if you have Office 365 Business Essentials, Business Premium, or Education, any one of these, E1, E3, E5, then you should have Power Apps. And the other important thing, if you have those licenses, and if you got purchase, or if you just bought the Power Apps, then one of the important thing is the connection. So how we are going to connect to the different resources that you have, because using Power Apps you can develop those forms and different kinds of applications. So you need to connect to the external resources, whether it may be SQL or SharePoint or Azure, right? So here on the left hand side, you can see that I can connect to different types of resources that I have, and it shows if I wanted to connect to the new connection, so I can go ahead and click on the new connection option and try to connect to the resources that I have. Okay. There were questions about whether I could use Power Apps to Office 365 as well as on-premises. Yes, definitely you could work with Power Apps in on-premises SharePoint as well. It's not just with Office 365. So if you have on-premises, so you could use the gateway option. They have detailed steps, so you might need to install a few prerequisites in your on-premises environment. Then you should be able to connect to the Power Apps or build Power Apps in your on-premises as well. It's not just for SharePoint Online, so it's for both. And once you connect the resources, it will show what are the resources that I have connected. And once I connect to specific SharePoint site, in this case, we were talking about how we could customize the list forms. So that means I need to choose a specific list where I will be I will be customizing those forms. And also when I talk about lists and sites, this is mainly for modern sites. If it is a traditional sites, that means the whole team sites or publishing sites, so you would be still using jQuery, and you can customize those forms, right? But this one is more for the modern sites that are available, or modern lists and libraries. Okay, that's where the Power Apps, because you can't inject jQuery or JavaScript in the modern list or libraries. I'm going to show you. We definitely don't have those options. That's the reason we are trying to learn Power Apps to customize these list forms. Because I never seen a project where I haven't customized even single form on any project. So most probably you might be customizing all the display forms, edit forms, and new forms based on different conditions. So you should know like what are the different options that you have, and when to use these Power Apps, which is also very, very important, right? So that's one of the important criteria that you need to take care. Okay, so let's look at one quick demo and see how we could create the connections. Meanwhile, I'll just have a look at if you guys have any questions. Yeah, whoever doesn't have the screen share properly, so yeah, make sure you change the settings, okay, um, within your YouTube settings. So you can directly go to the YouTube instead of the screen here, okay, then change the resolution. But most probably, once we have the recorded session, then I think it will be more clear. All right. Okay. So let's go back to the SharePoint site that I have. So once you have Office 365 and if it falls into one of these particular plans, okay, then you should see the Power Apps option here. So like I have my Office 365 tenant and I can see the Power Apps where I could directly access the Microsoft Power Apps. So you should have either Office 365 account or the live account, MSDN live account. So both will work. Okay, so here first thing first, once you go to the home page, if you want to explore some of the apps that they already have, so you can go and see what are the different apps that Microsoft has developed. And also one more thing, there are a lot of other information that they have published. Like there were video tutorials, how you could create an app and how you could get started with. So I would encourage you to go through those videos so that it will give an idea how we could get started with. And at the same time, go ahead and use some of these or the apps that they have developed. For example, the contacts, how this looks like, okay, and if you customize, what are the things that you want to customize. So see what are the apps that you could use based on the requirements, okay. uh, these apps will give an idea basically. Okay, and also on the left hand side, I have connections, flows, gateways, and notifications, and a lot of other options which are entities. But let's go to the connections and see what we have here. So here I have four different connections which I have created. Okay, and if I see here the SharePoint one, if I click, so it will provide the information like what exactly this connection and what are the other things that I have within this connection. If I want to edit or remove this connection, I can go ahead and remove those connections. But always when you're doing for the first time, you will be creating connections. So when I click on new connection here, like I said, uh, I have so many options, right? That's why it's not just for Office 365. You might buy this particular product for the different purpose as well, okay? So I can connect to a lot of different resources that are available and work with Power Apps, build those Power Apps. But in our case, we need for SharePoint. So I'll go ahead and filter with SharePoint. So now I have only one option. Then this is where it gives either I could connect to the cloud or on premises, and it will ask for more information. And if you want to read about this particular gateway option, so you can go ahead and read about it. So Well, let's try this again. I think it's loading now, and now I should be able to log in. Okay, it's adding the connection. So now I have the connection, right? So once I have the connection, then I can go ahead and work with a different list that I have and those things. Okay. Are you guys not able to hear anything? Can you hear me still? No? Okay. How about the screen? Are you able to see the screen? Okay. Yeah. Sorry for that. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Then next, the customization of the list forms, and like I said, there might be a different ways where you would be customizing the list forms. Um, and like I said, this Power Apps is specifically for sorry for the model list and libraries. So we will go ahead and see how we are going to create those list forms and how we could customize those list forms. Okay. So like I said, the Microsoft released this model list and libraries a few months back. And if you go to the advanced settings of any list, so you can always change whether the experience to be set to new experience or classic experience. But at the tenant level, if that was set to classic, it may not work. But if it was set to default, then the new one. So you can always change at the site level or the list level. Okay. So make sure you change that to the new experience, and then you can always change those things or customize the list forms. Okay. So in this example, probably we'll take one application as an example, and then we will see how we could customize the list forms. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Let's go back here. So I have a site here called Help Desk, and within that I have a list which I have just created for this particular session. So I'll just go to that particular list. So the one I was talking about is this particular list settings. So if I go here and if I go to the list settings and go to the advanced settings, this was the setting I was talking about. If I set to the classic experience, it's going to show the old way of how the list will look like. So if I go to the demo, right? So this is how the old experience is. And if I go to the new item, let's see. So here now, I can edit the page. This is what I wanted to show you guys basically. So now I'm in the classic experience where I could edit the page and put a content editor web part, or I can go to this particular web part. Okay. Now if I edit this within the miscellaneous, I can go to the JS link property and I could inject the script where I could customize this particular form with the help of either JSLink or jQuery or JavaScript. So this is in case of classic list that you have. Now let's go back here. That's how we used to do with the traditional lists, right? Let's go back to the list settings. And I'm going to change this to the advanced settings now. To the new experience from the advanced settings. If I go to the new list, the same list with the new experience. Now here, if I click the new form or the new button here, which will open the new form, here we have completely different experience. And if I go to this gear icon, I don't see an option where I could edit this particular form itself. Okay, so that means I will not be able to inject whatever the type of customizations that we used to do using JavaScript or jQuery or JSLink. So that option is not available. Even if I go to the edit form, so let's go ahead and edit this. It's the same for edit form as well. These are not the list view web parts. So this is the modern experience that this list has got. Now, by default, you see on the ribbon, I have this Power Apps option. So where I could go ahead and create a new Power App for this particular list. So I can create an app. And here, let's name this as demo. And I can click on create. So which will basically redirect to this create.powerapps.com studio, which is within the browser itself. Okay. And behind the scenes now, it started building the app based on the schema that I have here. Okay, so I have this list, and what happens is whenever I try to create an app using Power Apps, it will try to use all the metadata that I have or the columns that I have, and it will try to create an app. Okay, let me start a new session. What's that? These things never used to happen. I mean, it was smooth when I tested this, but yeah, hopefully this demo goes smoothly. Yeah. So like I said, it's trying to create all those. So basically what it does is, like, we have the new form, edit form, and the display form for each and every list. So it is trying to create those forms using Power Apps. Now I can see on the left hand side, we have all those three screens. Okay, screen one is the detail screen, the other one is the edit screen, and the last one was the individual details, where I could see what are the different informations that I have. And also, if you're looking this at the first time, there are a lot of elements that are showing up within these Power Apps, and some of them were the layouts. So on the right hand side, if you see, I have different options. For example, some of the list you might have images. So in those cases, you better choose any one of these things. For example, you have a list called products, where each product is associated with a list, or contacts list, where each list has a picture. So you might go ahead and select this particular layout instead of the other one. So right now my list doesn't have any images, so it doesn't make any sense to select these layouts that I have for the images. So probably what I'll do is I'll select any one of the other one. Now automatically, if you see, when I change the layout, the screen will change, and also by default one particular value which will get populated, and it shows where it is coming from, the title field. Okay, hope everything is clear. Yeah, probably Lewis. Please go ahead and yeah. Please, did you guys change the settings from the YouTube? That was the only reason. And also make sure you close all different browser windows that you have opened, so that you may get a little bit better quality than what you have right now. Okay. Uh, let's go to the new form here. So if I see, let me zoom a little bit so that you can see the different columns that I have. So whenever Power Apps started creating the form, it displays those controls in different order. So here I have approver, assignee, then the comments here, but the subject is at the bottom. So we need to rearrange these things how you wanted to show to the user, right? So let's select this. Now, whenever I select these particular fields that I have on the screen, it automatically shows all the fields on the right hand side within this form, whatever the form has. Now, what I can do is I can select that particular field and I can basically drag those things. Okay, sometimes it is a bit tricky, but yeah, you can just drag it. So now the title or the subject is at the top, so automatically here I can see the changes that are appearing within my edit form or the new form. Okay, let's say now I don't want comments to show up here. I can just select this and drag all the way down. Okay, let's select it again. Okay, now this looks good where I have the comments field at the end. Let's say I don't want to show the requested information in my new form or the edit form, so I can go ahead and hide that. Now the requester is no more showing within my form, right? So once you are, let's say if you wanted to have a quick test, so I can always go ahead and run this and I can see how this looks like. Right. If it is a people picker, I can go ahead and type those values. Okay, and the experience what it shows here is, and this is also a good thing about the Power Apps where you don't have to build a separate UI for your mobile devices. So it automatically takes care of those things. Okay, and if you wanted to change these buttons, how this looks like, you can always change these icons. Okay, so you can go different icons. Let's say you don't want this icon, then you can disable it or you make it visible. So all those things you can control from the settings that you have. And also if you want to insert any other additional controls, sometimes what happens is you might need to build these forms from the scratch, let's say. So in those cases, sorry, you could create the forms as well. So you can see here, you could create your own custom edit form. You can create a custom display form or the entry form, where if you wanted to build everything from the scratch. But most of the times in the SharePoint, so you will have the existing lists that is available. Then you will be using that particular app. Let's say now you have done with some of the changes, then you can give whatever the background color that you like, okay, for that particular app. And then you can change or update the app name. Okay, then if you're fine with those things, then you can always save the app. Okay, so let's save it. This thing I just downloaded to my local machine. So if I wanted to make changes, okay, I can do those changes as well. Given that now I have already installed this Power Apps from the store, So it's just opening now. Okay. So you can see how this looks like within my app itself, or sorry, from my Power App Studio. This is not in the browser. Now I'm testing it from the Power App Studio. So now when I save it, okay, seems like, let's try to fill a few more information. Yeah, it seems like it got submitted. And now if I go to the list here, okay, let me see if I have all fields are mandatory. Okay, let's try to save this again. Demo 1. Been practicing this, but yeah, let's see. Why is it not displaying it? Okay, I do have the demo. No, it says the app is not being saved. But let me try it again. To save this. Yeah, I'll be sharing the presentation and everything after the session today. Manju has a question: how to control field by user logged in? So you mean based on the user credentials, we need to show and hide the fields? Like this. Okay, now it is being added. I think previously when I tried to save that, it was not getting saved. But Now I can see the item that was saved just now. If we go back to the app itself, so I could move the or make those changes. For example, now the subject should be at the top. I can align those fields. Okay, let me drag and drop those things. Hey, sorry, it seems like I got disconnected again. Yeah, those were the things that you could definitely do using Power Apps. And also, I'm still exploring a lot of other things that how you do it in the normal SharePoint customizations, because using jQuery you could definitely do a lot more things, like um, uh, there are different kinds of customizations. Like I select one of the value in one of the drop down, then I'll hide or show different fields. So those things can be done in the jQuery without a lot of things, but here within Power Apps, yeah, some of those things I'm still exploring. Probably I will share later. So if you have anything else that you want me to discuss, probably probably I'll send an email about by creating a blog post on different set of those things, the common customizations of the forms that you could create using Power Apps. But the Power Apps with SharePoint, it's still evolving. I mean, it's quite new, and there are a lot of other new things that is being developed. So yeah. But this session more I wanted to give like um, how we could get started with Power Apps, and what are the simple customizations that you could do. There are, like I said, there are a lot of controls that you could start using with, and if you wanted to connect with different data sources, you could go ahead and add different data sources that you want to work with. And also these buttons basically uses the on select events. For example, this one is for the sort, this one is going to redirect for the new form or the edit form, and this one is for the refresh. So basically these are the on select events that you could do. Okay. Yeah, that's how I wanted to cover in this particular session. So anyone has any other questions? I would say don't use InfoPath forms. Probably start using the Power Apps wherever you could be possible doing the customizations, because now the InfoPath forms almost like next few years the support will be coming to an end, like SharePoint, I mean in another 4 years. So don't go with InfoPath forms. If you are using old team sites, you could still use jQuery, but if you are working with modern team sites, you could still go with Power Apps. Yes, it's not actually replacement for the InfoPath forms, but it's a new way of developing the customizing the SharePoint forms. Uh, Can you use Power Apps with SharePoint 2013? I believe yes. There is a gateway that you need to enable. So if you go to the Power Apps site, so they have an installation so that you need to do it on your site. Then you need to authenticate with Power Apps Studio. Then you should be able to create those Power Apps. Um, I haven't explored the validations yet in Power Apps, but I believe there should be a way, because I read it like we could still use functions to control some of those things. So we should be definitely having validations as well within the Power Apps. Okay. Is Power Apps is replacement of JS Link CSR? The JS Link and CSR is like a different way of the customizing those forms when we did in 2013. But those things still work with traditional or the old team sites. But if you are using the modern ones, yeah, you should be using the Power Apps. So it's not actually the replacing JS Link. So it depends on what are the sites that you will be developing applications with. In the form, can we add validation for each fields? I think yes, Srinivas, we could definitely add. I'm like I said, I'm still exploring, so I'll be sharing with you more information once I have it. Okay, Jayanta has a question. Is it possible to start this app without go to the list and here start? Yes. You could still create the blank forms and start those creating those fields. So you could do that as well, definitely. Can I do Visual Studio Code in Power Apps? So what do you mean? You want to develop Power Apps using Visual Studio Code? I don't think so. So they have, that's why they have separate app um, that you need to install, or you can do it from the browser. I don't think there's a way you will be using Visual Studio Code to develop Power Apps. I think most of them will be available if I'm not wrong, because this particular Power Apps is released recently and it's being still, I mean, a lot of features being added, and wherever the issues that we have, those things were being slowly resolved. So I think if you have rich InfoPath forms, um, then I think for now, if you don't have any option, you might need to continue. But given that they're stopping the InfoPath form support, so probably there should be a perfect replacement or alternative similar to the Power Apps. Anju, what are the main benefits than InfoPath, which means why we need to go with Power Apps? I think InfoPath form has a lot of drawbacks. It may look like you could develop quick customizations of editing those forms, but a lot of things you will not be able to do with the InfoPath forms, and it was quite challenging with InfoPath forms as well. And Microsoft was not that successful using that InfoPath fonts. Otherwise, they wouldn't be going with Power Apps. But it's definitely going to take time to mature. So yeah, I would say we might need to wait till we have all the features that are available. How to enable modern list libraries on existing SharePoint 2013 on-premises? I think the modern list and libraries are still with Office 365. Not sure if we have them in on-premises 2013, but definitely in 2016. Yeah, I'm not sure if we have them in 2013. When we say Power Apps with on-premises, I'm talking about 2016, but not 2013. I'm not sure if we have options, Chiranjeevi, within that particular SharePoint 2013. I don't think so we have. But yeah, the demos were not too good. But going forward, I think with the help of these questions that you guys are asking, so definitely I'll try to come up with solutions for those things, and probably we can have one more session or a detailed blog post where I'll be sharing all this information. Yes, this one is the desktop app that I have installed. This is from the Windows Store. So you can go to the Windows Store and download it within your machine. Just look for Power Apps. You should be able to download Masta. Hey, and also thanks for staying with me till the end. So next week I'm actually doing a. Okay, I have a question here. Are these Power Apps free add-ins when the client tab for SharePoint Online? What do you mean by add-ins? Add-ins are different. Don't I mean combine the add-ins with Power Apps. Power Apps is different thing, and add-ins is a different thing. So add-ins, you will be developing custom solutions, and you can have a lot more things. Where the Power Apps, you will be connecting to a specific resource, and you will be creating the forms. You will be providing rich user experience to the end users. No, it's not free. If you go to the pricing, you need to pay per user license basis. The Power Apps is not free. Yeah, its app is free from what's that? Windows Store. Yes. There is a trial. If you want to work with Power Apps, let's say you don't have Office 365 license, then you could definitely go ahead and use the trial version. So if I go here within the Power Apps site, so if you go to the pricing, there is a trial option which you could opt in for, the free trial. So you can enter the MSDN account, MSDN Live account, then you can get started with free trial. The app is free, Jessica. This app, the one which I installed from the Windows Store, this is This one is free, the Power Apps. I didn't pay anything. I haven't tested in multiple browsers, though. I'm not sure if it should work in IE as well. Can we create forms using multiple lists in Power Apps? So you want to save the data in two lists at a time with one form? Is that what you're trying to create? I'm just trying to understand the scenario where why do you want to create just one form to store multiple? So but yeah, probably I need to check if it is really possible. Okay, okay, I get your point. I think you should be able to connect to the multiple sources, but yeah, I'll check and confirm that. Okay, we have few more minutes left, so probably if you have any questions, so just put it in chat window, or you can just send me an email. I'll have a look at it. But probably regarding the workshop, so I'll just send an email to you guys along with the recording. So if anyone interested, you guys can go ahead and join. Okay. If you guys don't have any questions, yeah, thanks everyone. Yes, I'll be sending the email along with the recorded session that we have. But definitely, I think going forward, yeah, I'll try to include um, more information on the Power Apps because this is the way that Microsoft want us to customize the forms. So definitely, whatever we are using with different forms or different approaches that we are doing all these days, we should be definitely able to do using Power Apps as well. So yeah, there is more scope to learn. How to change the layer for mobile phone to desktop? What do you mean? I didn't get your question. Are you talking about the layout for mobile phone to desktop? Yes. You have, it should work with the, so you mean you're saying you're not going to get with the desktop layout? There are mobile app layout as well as the tablet. Okay. Yes, that's correct. When I start, it was the mobile app screen. But when the desktop users are using it, it should have that particular full screen layout as well. I think when we did that, let me go back to the list. Let's try to load this and see if it shows. So if you go to the demo, Why is it? I'm not sure why I'm not able to open this again. So you mean why we are not able to open that in the desktop view, or is that the question? Let's go here. So if you want to create the apps, okay, so here you can see that on my cursor, so you have two layouts, a phone layout or the tablet layout. So you can create any one of those things. If I go to the new one, basically. So if I choose the tablet, it will open the tablet layout. And also, you don't have to start with the specific list. Like I said, that was one of the question. So you can always go ahead and create forms from the scratch. Then you can connect to the data source. Okay, but yeah, if you have any specific question and if you think that I was unable to answer those things, but yeah, send me an email, then I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, I think yeah, we're about to end the session. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining today. Bye.